Okay, hello, 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 Berea. I said hello, 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 Berea. Very good. All right, so I am so excited. I couldn't sleep last night. I don't even know how I'm standing here. I was so excited because this is our first game show this year. Now, if you were here last year, you know that we have been doing game shows about once a month last year, and as Mr. Salamando said, they were getting a little crazy. That we're gonna go back to the first one because first of all, it was one of my favorites, and we have our staff who's out there in the hallway waiting to come in. We had two teams last year play against each other. We had the Annihilators, which is the blue team, and the Eliminators, which is the black team, and they've squared off against each other. And last year, it was the Eliminators that won. Well, this year, the Annihilators are here, they're back, and they're seeking revenge because they want to win this year. But here's the thing, we're going to cheer for all of the teams, and the teachers, I'm gonna tell you a little secret, they're nervous. I don't know why. Do they have any reason to be nervous? Right, because even though if we don't always know the right answer, okay, first of all, we try and we try and we try again, and we're just doing our best, right? So if a teacher doesn't know the right answer, what are we gonna do? We're gonna cheer them on anyway, right? So, and not only are we gonna cheer them on, but we're gonna also give them lots of love, because when I call them out, this is the one time where I am gonna let you cheer, okay? Now, cheering means, does it mean screaming? No! Okay, because we can cheer, and we can clap, and we can go like this, and we can yell their name, especially if they're your teacher, but we don't need to scream, okay? And if it starts getting too carried away, we're gonna stop. I'm gonna just stop the game show until everybody gets themselves calmed down, okay? Because this is all about us having fun, but we don't want it to get too carried away, okay? All right, so I'm gonna get started and call our teams out. I'm gonna start with the Annihilators, okay? So, are we ready, Berea kids? Okay, I hope you all feel the love, because they are excited for you, okay? So, we are going to start with calling the Annihilators. They're going to come out, they're going to come up on stage. Remember, Annihilators, you guys are on the blue side, and the Eliminators are going to come up on the black side. I also just want to give a quick shout out, a big thank you to Mrs. Wendell and Mr. Boland for coming through. Can we give them a round of applause? Because they're trying their hardest right now to help with the technology part of it, because up on that screen we're supposed to be able to see and read the questions. And I also want to thank all of my staff, the teachers and grown-ups who are part of today. So can we just do another quick little applause for them? And one last thank you to Mrs. Smith for recording us today. Her arms are going to be very sore today, so thank you, Mrs. Smith. All right, and I also have some 5th grade helpers too. I'm going to point out we have Delaney and Ben, who are my scorekeepers. And I also have Madison and Zoe, who are helpers. I can't tell you what they're here to help me with, but you'll know it when they come up. So thank you, girls, for helping me. All right, here we go. Our first game show contestant on the Annihilator side is Mr. Mike. Come on in, Mr. Mike. Okay, our next Annihilator is 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. Tarasco. Okay, our next Annihilator is 4th grade teacher, Mrs. Cook. Okay, our next Annihilator is 4th and 5th grade teacher, Mrs. Mass. time, here are the reigning champs. Our first annihilator, one of the best office secretaries that we have, Mrs. Killen. Okay, and the kindergarten teacher, we go way back. Here's Mrs. D. Bundy. Okay, we have another fourth grade teacher, Mrs. Scott. Okay, and one of my favorite paraprofessionals, Mrs. Calderon. Okay, and here's my big secret, our last eliminator, Coach Lennon. Okay, so boys and girls, that was so much love. Oh my goodness, I could literally feel it coming across. I hope you guys did too. Did you all feel it? Okay, so here's how this is gonna work. So right now, we're going to just proceed, even though our technology is not working out for us right now. I know they're working really hard to get it up, but we need to carry on, so we're gonna get started. I have all the questions on good old-fashioned paper. So we are going to call up one team member at a time to square off against another team member. I'm going to ask a question, and whoever knows it, the correct answer first, is going to slam the green button. It's going to sound like this. It lights up. Okay, so I'm going to kind of stand behind here. And this way I steer clear of everybody. Now I am a little worried about this cord, so annihilators, just please be careful that we don't trip over it. Okay, teams, are we ready to go? Okay, Ben and Delaney, are you guys ready down there? Okay. Okay, so here's how this part is going to work. I told you we're going to stop. If you guys can't stop talking when it's my turn to talk, then we're just going to stop. Okay, so here's how this works. I have a series of questions in different subjects. We like science, math, social studies, and art and music, and movies. So here's the thing. If you know the answer, do you think you should shout it out? Even if you feel like you're gonna explode because you know you have the right answer, are you gonna shout it out? Good. And that would take all the fun away from the teachers up here. So here's the thing, if they don't know the answer, then I'm gonna rely on you to shout out the answer, but only then. And I will let you know because I'm gonna ask you what's the answer. But if I don't ask you what the answer is, then just keep it inside, okay? And of course, we'll cheer for both teams, okay? All right, so I am gonna call up my first two contestants. I'm gonna have the fourth grade teacher square off. Mrs. Scott and Mrs. Cook, come on up. Lee and Ben, you remember where my backups are? We're gonna take some backups here just in case. Mrs. Cook was so excited about lava. Okay, here's the new one. Okay, so now it's gonna be a blue, and we're gonna go with the blue. Okay, my next question is for Coach Lennon and Mr. Mike. Okay, which is faster, light or sound? Well, you can't do both. No, I said just the blue. Yes. Okay. Okay, what's faster, light or sound? Light is correct. Good job. Can you name the closest star to Earth? Okay, now I need Mrs. Demon and Mrs. Tarasco. Okay, we're not going to go by that. Yeah, nope. Okay. We're going to listen, yep. Yes, there we go. Okay. All right. On what continent will you not find any bees?
Antarctica.
You are correct. Antarctica. Okay, we are switching subjects to Mrs. Sossler's favorite, math. All right. Mrs. Scott, Mrs. Ganello. Hold on. Mrs. Scott, Mrs. Ganello, come back up. Don't worry, I got you covered. I got you covered, Mrs. Calvert. All right. So yes, only the blue button. Okay. This one is going to require some serious silence because they're going to have to concentrate, okay? Shh, serious silence. An apple and an orange together costs $4. An apple and a coconut together costs $5. Yep, an apple and an orange. I'll even, here we go. An apple and an orange together cost $4. An apple and a coconut together cost $5. 2 apples cost $6. Which fruit is the most expensive? Ooh, Mrs. Ganello? Not correct, not the orange. You got it? Go ahead. The apple was $3. Good job. So yeah, we had to first figure out how much the apple cost, and we know that 2 apples together cost $6, which means that they're each $3. Right, good job. Okay, now Mrs. Mass and Mrs. Calderon, come on up. Okay. Continue the sequence. 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. 64. Oh, very good. Wow, you guys were so worried. You're going Mrs. Killaway to come back. Okay, how many socks in a drawer does a family of 4 have if each has 3 pairs of socks? 24. This is cool. I can't even finish reading the question, Mrs. Cook. All right, I'm impressed. Okay, Coach Lennon and Mrs. Staraska's turn. Okay. Here's our last math question. Last math question. What is 1 times 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 1? 1 it is. Good job. Okay, we are switching subjects. Okay, so it's time to switch over to social studies. All right, let's call up Mrs. Deevan and Mr. Mike. Mrs. Deevan. Okay. What? No, that's not the end. That's the math question. What is the largest state in America? Not California. Not Texas. It is Alaska. We'll give it to you. It's Alaska. All right, Mrs. Canello and Mrs. Calderon. Okay, remember. Okay, Mrs. Staraska has a firm rule. Put it on the table. There we go. Okay. All right. Remember, social studies. What is the imaginary line called? You didn't hear the question. Hold on. What is the imaginary line called that connects the North Pole and the South Pole? Ooh. Okay, it is time for Mrs. Staraska and Mrs. Killaway to come back. Okay. Oh, hold on, we're gonna wait until the audience is ready. Oh, no, I said we're gonna stop. Okay. Which 4 presidents are on Mount Rushmore? That's the big cliff with the presidents' faces carved onto the side. Do you want to guess? If you can get at least 3 out of 4, I'll give you credit. Roosevelt, Lincoln, and I won't even specify which Roosevelt. We'll just go with Roosevelt, even though it's Theodore. Okay. Oh, shh. Oh, it's too loud. They can't concentrate. Washington. That's 3. You know the 4th? Okay, well, you got the point because you got 3, but does anybody know, don't shout out, but does anybody know the 4th? So it's George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Roosevelt, oh, Mr. Carter?
Okay, Washington, Lincoln, Roosevelt, and Jefferson.
Jefferson! Well, you guys got the point because she got 3 out of 4. Mr. Carter didn't sign up for this one, though. They're saying that you should have signed up for it. Okay, so now it's time for Mrs. Mast and Mrs. Deevan. studies. Which is the largest ocean? Pacific is correct. Or you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and because you did, you know what? That was on me. We're gonna give the eliminators a point because Mrs. Devan was the one that hit it, but then I had Mrs. Massick answer it. I got my left. It was like the answer just filtered through up there. So we'll give a point on there, only because that was my mess up. If there's a tie, we'll make sure that there's no tie. Okay, we are moving on to some of my favorite subjects, music and art. Okay, let's have Mrs. Calderon and Mrs. Cook come on up. We are done cheering. Okay, so Mrs. Calderon and Mrs. Cook, if you are a Swiftie, who are you a fan of? Taylor Swift. Good try, Coach. Okay, now I'm going to have Mrs. Mack and Mrs. Scott come on up. Okay, do me a favor, just face the audience for a second, because I have to show them something before you see it, okay? Face the audience. Okay, so Berea kids, I'm going to show you a picture. Now, I know it's going to be small, and it was supposed to be nice and big on the screen, but I think you'll be able to see for the most part, okay? Teachers, just give me 1 second, okay? Don't say anything, just look, okay? Okay? All right, teachers, turn around and look. What is this lady's name? Mona Lisa. Mona Lisa! Okay, where's Madison and Zoe? Come on up. Okay, boys and girls, I need a little help from Madison and Zoe, okay? So they are two very brave 5th graders who are going to come up and demonstrate something for us and for the teachers. So girls, just move more into the middle, okay? There you go. All right, so they're going to demonstrate a dance move, okay? First, there was the Macarena. Okay, good job, girls. Then next, there was the Gritty. Okay, but then there's a dance. Oh, and let's call up Mr. Mike and Mrs. Kelley. Come on up. Almost forgot to call the contestants. Okay. And I promise you don't have to do the dance. Okay, but then there's a dance, and you're gonna tell me the name of it, just like I told you the name of the Macarena and the Gritty. So there's a dance where you put your left arm in, your left arm out, and you shake it all about.
Is it the hokey pokey?
what does adding white to a color do, and what is it called? So I'm looking for when you add white to a color, what does it do, and then what do we call it? Well, adding black to a color makes the color darker, and we call that a shade. It makes it lighter, and what do we call it, though? Well, she said lighter. Oh, you said lighter? What's it called? Okay. A hue? Yes, I love that you know that word. Okay. All right, I know my 4th and 5th graders are gonna know this. All right, Dominic? Pastel? Oh, no, yes. Tint is correct. All right, I'm gonna give them the point because they did get lighter. Okay, yes, eliminators. Okay. Moving on to our next category, movies. Let's have Mrs. Mass and Coach Lennon come on up. Okay. I keep having to stop a lot. Okay. In what movie will you find characters who are looking for a brain, a heart, and courage? The Wizard of Oz is correct. Very good. Good job, Coach Lennon. Okay. Up next. Oh, I'm not sure why I just heard screaming. Boys and girls, we want so much to have a good time today, and that's why we're doing this. We're doing this because it's a fun day, and we want you to have fun. We want you to laugh and enjoy this time. We're up here, we're having a good time, but if I have to keep stopping, then we're just gonna call it a day. So, Berea kids, I need you to do better. Okay. All right, Mrs. Cook and Mrs. Deben, come on back. It's your turn. All right. In the movie Up, what item does Carl use to make his house fly? Balloons is correct. Okay, good job. Mrs. Scott and Mr. Mike, come on up. Okay. No, because it's just too hard to coordinate that. Okay, this is movies. Movies, okay? Kids movies. Okay, here we go. In which film do 5 emotions control a young girl's mind? Inside Out. Very good. Okay, Mrs. Ganello and Coach Lennon, come on up. Hi, nice sportsmanship. Okay, what magical land is accessed through a wardrobe? Ooh, Coach Lennon, Narnia is correct. Good job. Okay, let's just see where we're at with points. Ben, how many points do annihilators have? 6 points. And how many do eliminators have? Oh, how many points do the blue team have? Annihilators. The blue 14 for eliminators. Oh, you are annihilators. Oh, I'm sorry. Annihilators have 14. And eliminators have 6. Okay. Well, I have to say, annihilators, you have come for revenge, and you're getting a big old scoop of it. Okay. So our last and final round, it's called the lightning round, okay? Now this is where the teams are gonna decide one player, okay? Last year it was Mrs. Killay and I think maybe Mrs. Daraska, I forget. But this is how this last round is gonna work. Each team is gonna pick one player to represent them. We'll have the eliminators come up first, okay? I'm gonna ask them a series of questions, and they only have 30 seconds to answer them because I have 10 questions that I'm gonna ask really fast. They have to give me fast, quick answers, and if they don't know, you just say pass. So if you don't know the answer, don't get hung up on it, just say pass. Everybody with me? So one person from each team is going to come up. Now I'm going to have this team go first, but so this player is going to go hang out in the band room area, and Delaney will go and escort them so that you can't hear, okay? Because it's the same questions. And then once this team is done, we'll call the player from the Annihilators to come up. I'm going to ask the same exact questions, give them 30 seconds on the clock, and we'll see how many points that they get. So if they'll get a point for each correct answer. So they can earn up to 10 more points for their team if they get all 10 questions correct. Okay, does this make sense, players? Are we all good? All good? Okay, so we're gonna give them a second or two. Did you guys figure out who's representing? Mrs. Killay. Oh, you were really good at this last year. You were really good. You're not choking, I promise. You're doing great. Okay, now, do we have somebody from this side? Mr. Mike? Okay, so Mr. Mike, you're going to go hang out in Coach Lennon's office, okay? Close the door behind you so you can't hear anything. No Coach Lennon's office. Oh. Oh, is this it here? Yes, there you go. Okay. All right, Mrs. Killay, come on up. Okay, teachers, anybody have a cell phone on them that they can do a timer, because I have Mrs. Smith that has my tablet and I forgot you have the timer on my tablet. So, all right, girls, Madison and Zoe, I want you to put 30 seconds on the clock. You give me the thumbs up when you're ready. We're doing a countdown for 30 seconds, not... Anybody? Mrs. Wendell, you have yours up? Okay. So Mrs. Wendell's got 30 seconds on the clock. So Mrs. Wendell, when we get down to the last 10 seconds, just give us a little thumbs up so we can let Mrs. Killay know, okay? All right. So we're going to go ahead and get started. 3, 2, 1. What color is Elmo from Sesame Street? Good. What is the name of the cowboy in Toy Story? Correct. What is the color of an emerald? Correct. In the nursery rhyme, who sat on the wall before having a great fall? Good. If you suffer from arachnophobia, what are you scared of? Good. What everyday object does Ariel call a dinglehopper? Good. What is Batman City? Good. What geometric shape is the stop sign? Good. What's the fastest land animal? Okay. That was 9 points. Good job. 9 points. That was excellent. Now that's what I call good under pressure. I'd be like, blah, 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 blah. I don't know English. Okay. All right, let's get Mr. Mike back in. Thanks, Mrs. Wendell. Okay, remember, I'm going to ask Mr. Mike the same exact questions, okay? And Mrs. Wendell is going to give him the same amount of time, which is 30 seconds. We'll see if Mr. Mike can top that, okay? There was only one question we didn't get to. We'll see if Mr. Mike can get to it. All right. And so how many points does that give eliminators? Ben and Delaney. How many points do they have now? 17 points. Good job, eliminators. Come on up, Mr. Mike. Oh, we want some love. Oh, my goodness. Mr. Mike. Oh, man, they're going to hop on the stage, too. Okay. Okay, we're going to stay right here. Okay. Can't get started if it's that loud. Okay, so Mr. Mike, Mrs. Killay got 9 correct. Okay, there's only 10 questions. Okay, we have 30 seconds on the clock. I'm going to ask you questions really fast. If you don't know the answer, remember, just say pass and I'll move on and we can come back if we have time. Okay? All right, Mrs. Wendell, we good? All right, let's get started. 3, 2, 1. What color is Elmo from Sesame Street? Good. What is the name of the cowboy in Toy Story? Good. What is the color of an emerald? Yes. In the nursery rhyme, who sat on the wall before having a great fall? Good. If you suffer from arachnophobia, what are you afraid of? Good. What everyday object does Ariel call a dinglehopper? Pass. What is Batman City? Good. What geometric shape is the stop sign? Good. What's the fastest man? Good. In the little red riding hood, who lives in the puppet? All right, we're gonna go a 9 out of 10 on that one. Okay, that was 9 out of 10. Okay, yes, it was the dinglehopper was a 4. Okay, the last question, in case you couldn't hear, was in the Little Red Riding Hood story, who does the wolf dress up as? And Mr. Mike guessed it correctly, the grandmother. Okay, so let's do one final round of points. So we have 16 for eliminators, 17, and for annihilators, 23. We have a winner, 23.